Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Vince and you clicked this video because you saw that I have 87,000 plus miles, 4-year ownership of my MK5 Supra. So crazy to even think about that at this point. I've had this car for 4 years, drove it a lot clearly, as you can tell with the mileage. But in this video, I want to discuss with you guys my ownership experience with this car. So the formatting is going to be similar for this video compared to last year's video. So if you haven't seen that yet, click one of those icons on the top corner of your screen so you can see how my thoughts were last year. So anyways, with the things that we are going to be discussing on this video, so you know exactly what to expect. So if you want to skip to a particular section, you could do that. Use the bookmarks down below on the bar as well as the description box. So you can just click to that and get straight to that point. With that being said, we're going to be discussing, of course, the mileage. We're going to discuss why I bought this car, what current mods that I have, what I've changed since last year's video, or what has happened to the car since last year's video. And then we're going to discuss my maintenance schedule, of course, the issues that I've had, and then just the conclusion. Only difference between this year's video and last year's video is there was a pros and cons section. Pros and cons, to be honest, is about the same thoughts as I had last compared to last year's video. So just refer to that video if you wanted to see my thoughts. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood and we will discuss why I bought the Supra and what mods I have on here now compared to last year. Okay, so now we are under the hood, as you can see here. Let's talk about why I bought the Supra. So if you're a new viewer or a new subscriber, you might not have heard exactly the reason why I bought a MK5 Supra. So I was cross-shopping it with the R35 GTR, was cross-shopping it with RS3s, Corvette Z06. So I bought this car in November of 2020. So if you can't do the math, 2020 was 4 years ago as of the release of this video, because it is 2024. I just wanted something that was reliable, something that was fast, something that looked good, and something that was comfortable. It's kind of hard to find a car that would fit that exact description. So I went down the list. How many seats does it have? I know that this is a 2-seater, but I was single at the time. I really didn't care too much about the extra seats. I wanted something that I could modify to go faster and then still be reliable. You might be thinking to yourself that that is a big ask for any car, but clearly it worked for me. But that was something that I was looking for. I came out of the Subaru game. Some of you guys watching this might have a Subaru, and I'm not trying to talk shit on the platform because I've had like 5 or 6 of them. I've enjoyed them. I've gone through that platform. It still holds a special place in my heart. But to make power in a Subaru, you already know, 500 wheel horsepower, it takes a lot of money to get there. I don't have time to pull out the motor, do all this stuff to have a reliable 500 wheel horsepower. So that was a big thing. And then of course, I wanted it to be comfortable. This car, even though it is lowered, as you can see with the introduction of this video, this car is pretty comfortable. I am 32 years old, so of course my youth is coming out here, but it's not like I'm 21 or 22 years old. I'm feeling my age. I'm not as spry as I used to be, but my dad, who is in his mid-50s, he has experienced this car and it's been comfortable for him. So I went on a 2-week-long road trip. If you haven't seen that series yet, make sure to check it out. And we took this car, loved it. It was such a blast to experience this car. It is a grand touring car after all, to be able to see all the sights that we did. But if you want to see that, go check out that series. So now for the current mods that I have. So I'm just going to run through them pretty quickly. I have so many videos where I discuss the mods that I have on this car. So top mount 6870, Vendetta Racing, that is discontinued. If you're wondering what a great top mount kit for your Supra is, check out my video where I discuss those options. I do have a custom fuel system by Mo and Tony at I Auto Work. So Tony, thank you for putting the entire fuel system together. So I have another low pressure fuel pump in the tank to supply my port injection system, which is running Deechworks 1000cc injectors for port injection. And then I'm running the RK AutoWorks Gen 2 manifold, which is different from last year's. I was running the Gen 1. Let's see. I have a built transmission by Brian Scholl, Applied Torque Solutions. So this is the Sage 1.5. So Brian, if you happen to be watching this, thank you for supporting my build and my channel. Wheels, exactly the same. Catch can from KLM. I do also have the block off plate, which was also supplied by Brian. So thank you for that. Installed by David Dang. So David, thank you for doing that for me. And then the Visconti Flex Fuel Kit. My car is tuned on Ecutech, so running the Reflex box. Ultimately, this car is tuned by Mikey Body. So he's tuned a lot of my cars. Mainly from Subarus. He's tuned like four or five of my Subarus. So whenever he got the Supra, I was pretty stoked. Followed him here, and here I am. So the main differences, like I mentioned, compared to last year, was that I have the Gen 2 RK manifold compared to the Gen 1. My tune is now finalized, as well as the fuel system. So last year, I did have another low pressure fuel pump, but it was running through the OEM lines. Again, the main difference with my current setup is the low pressure fuel pump, the secondary one, has a direct line to my port injection. So I don't have to worry about my fuel being bottlenecked whenever I am doing some pulls. So been great, fantastic, I love it. So thank you to all of my build partners for assisting with this. But those are the current mods that I have. So you're thinking to yourself, holy shit, man, you have a top mount kit and you have 87,000 miles on this car. So this is the stock OEM motor, completely unopened, no cams, nothing. Full long block, this is 100% stock. And you can see with the turbo here, of course it makes some power. It makes 850 wheel on the kill map. I don't drive it like that every day. I've discussed that in my previous videos as to why I don't. It's just not really practical, to put it simply. This car has been reliable for me. Whenever I did take this car with my dad on an 8,000 plus mile road trip throughout the entire west coast of the United States, I still got on pump gas. I still got 25 to 27 miles per gallon. So that is with us going like, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to incriminate myself, but we were enjoying the scenery. Let's put it that way. And the fact that like this car can handle that stock drivability whenever I'm not pushing it, it's truly amazing. I talk about my experiences with the road trip. Again, I highly encourage you guys to check it out. Even if you're not into the Supra, you just like road trips or whatever, or you see how it's like going on a road trip, check it out. Plenty of great footage and just great times with my dad. But those are the things that I changed compared to last year. So now let's back up a little bit and then let's discuss the maintenance schedule for this car, because I'm sure this is probably what you're waiting for. Okay, so let's go ahead and discuss the maintenance schedule of this car. So a majority of the work that has been done on this car, oil changes, just fluid changes in general, either I have done myself, or Tony at I Auto Work has done it, or Brian Scholl at Applied Torque Solutions has done it. Transmission fluid has been changed multiple times since I put the built transmission on there. And then for the oil changes, if you're wondering what oil I'm running, everyone seems to ask that when they first get into the car or are looking to buy one. So for me, being as modified as I am, I mainly run 5W40 Rotella T6. So you can think of however you want about that oil, but I've run it in my car, runs great. I literally have zero issues. Again, this is a stock motor car making 850 wheel horsepower with 87,000 miles. So it's been a motor that has been used and has been enjoyed, but it runs like a top. So take that for what you will. I'm not going to discuss that on this video, even in the comment section. Just do your research on there. I have done mine. This is what I'm comfortable with, and I'm going to run it. So I do my oil change every 2,000 to 3,000 miles. That is recommended by my tuner, Mikey Body, and mainly a lot of the people who has more experience in terms of the technicalities of this car. That's what they've recommended because I do run flex fuel again on this car, and this car mainly has ethanol every time I drive it. Of course, I'll cycle gasoline every so often, but it does have ethanol. And if you're going to enjoy it, ethanol degrades your oil quicker, so you have to change it more often. But that doesn't bother me because the oil is plentiful at Walmart, and then I literally just get the oil filters from either Amazon or your local AutoZone. But if you're going to just run the car on pump gas and you're not really pushing that much, then you can just honestly change the oil every 5,000 miles. I would say with 5W30, just get a quality one, bada bing, bada boom, you're good. So just go with that. You don't need to overcomplicate that process. So if you're worried about the whole oil thing, obviously I'm just one guy on the internet, just letting you know from my experience, don't sweat it too much. Now, as for the issues that I've had this car, so I'm going to, discuss it all within this section of the video, is honestly, if you were expecting a lot of drama with ownership of this car, you're going to the wrong car. It's been drama-free for me. With the entire experience, of course, like I've had some issues with this car, which I'll discuss here in a little bit. But in terms of the car that is still stock, that someone who buys a completely bone stock one, fresh from the dealership or used, that is bone stock, never modified, never tuned, whatever, you will not have any issues with this car. I tell people time and time again, if you just take care of the car, do the regular oil changes, do the regular fluid changes, brake pads, tires, so on and so forth. If you're able to do those basics, this car will be one of the most rewarding cars that you will ever own. Clearly that is biased because I'm a Supra guy. I have a Supra channel, so obviously I'm going to say that. But based on just my experiences and me discussing the ownership of a Supra with other people who's owned many other cars, we can all say the same thing. So don't overcomplicate things. Just keep up with it. This is a reliable BMW. So the only issues that I've had with this car, outside of just everything great that's been happening, because obviously no ownership is perfect unless I keep the car bone stock, is whenever I went to Impact down in Austin, Texas this year, I had a fuel system issue with the car, and I couldn't get fuel to the motor. So I had to tow my car back to Dallas.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
We went back through that, had Tony just redo it. I told him, I'm not worrying too much about the cost, just do this right so I know that it will never fail me. And I mean, I put it through the ultimate test with an 8,000 mile road trip, and it's held up amazing. So clearly no issues there. And then the only other issue that I've had, and it wasn't even related to the transmission itself, was that I had a solenoid for the ZF8 shit out. It was bone stock. It's not like, any of these transmission companies are modifying the solenoids themselves as far as I'm aware, but it just shit out. But Brian got me sorted back on the road. And again, this was before my 8,000 mile road trip, and I haven't had any issues. That has literally been it. I mean, other stuff, maybe something small, is like I mentioned it in last year's video, is that I was just dumb and I didn't change the spark plugs as soon as I should have whenever I saw the Pure 800. But I've been swapping them out every 20,000 miles-ish, and it's been great. Literally runs like a champ, no issues. I mean, I've been doing pulls and enjoying this car, and it's been great. That's basically it. The ownership of this car, again, you just keep up with the regular maintenance of it. Even if you have a highly modified car like me, then you'll be fine. Obviously, if you are going to beat the shit out of the car, be prepared for more shit to break. But if you're keeping up with the rest of the stuff, even if you beat it up, then you'll be okay. There you go. That's it for this section. If you have any questions, obviously you're going to have some more questions. Don't hesitate to message me on Instagram. You can DM me. I do check my DMs as often as I can. Also, you can leave down a comment in the section below, so do that. Or You can go to our Discord channel, Lone Star Supras. All the links are in the description box below, but I do my best to be as helpful as I can. And I recently just joined the Supra Mark V forums as well, so it's cool to interact with the community there. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. So again, don't hesitate to ask any questions if you have any about this platform. I'm more than glad to help out, but that's it. It's boring. Car's been awesome. 2 thumbs up. So to conclude this video, and I appreciate you guys for watching this far. So essentially to conclude everything, if you want a car that can almost do it all, fun weekend car, fun daily, fun track car, whether it's circuit or drag, you got it here. In my 4 years of ownership, 81,000 of those being in my ownership, 87,000 total miles on the chassis, it has been the most satisfying car for me personally to own. The fact that I have a car that has 850 wheel horsepower on tap, the fact that I can drive it to California, Seattle, wherever I want, and it'll get me there reliably is amazing. And the fact that I can sit in this car with it not being the biggest and still be comfortable and then be able to experience a road trip with my dad is, you can't beat it. So hopefully this video does help with your decision making. Of course, if anything, if you forget everything that I've discussed in this video, or even if you got this far in the video, is just keep up with regular maintenance with a car and it'll take care of you. So I'll end the video there. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Leave a comment down below. It helps whenever you subscribe and support my videos, but I will see you guys on the next episode.